Namaste, namaste. The broadcast is on.
Yes, Father.
Namaste, everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang today. Mujiji ki jai. Thank you all so much for joining in today. The way to ask questions is through the hangout like this. For those of you inside the hangout, can just unmute your mic and start speaking and ask your question. And those of you that are outside, there should be a question and answers app which you can ask your questions on. Thank you. Good. Happy birthday, Liza. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful year. Keep shining like this always. Mhm. There's already a question. Vishal Naveen said, Master person is an ego. What is an egoless person? Work or actions done without the consent of mind. Person is an ego, yes. There is no such thing as a egoless person. When we say person, it implies the sense of personhood is here, the sense of separation is here, and hence there cannot be something like a egoless person. The person itself means ego. Work or actions done without the consent of mind. Work or actions are always done irrespective of what the mind is saying. So sometimes the mind will come in agreement and sometimes it will seem to be in disagreement, but that is just the interpretation of whatever action is happening on its own. So this fallacy that my action is happening because of my thought needs to be broken. Remember that just like thoughts are coming up, in the same way actions are coming up. They are just different energy constructs. It is all the energy of consciousness itself which is playing like this. And once you know this, then there is no room for guilt, there is no room for regret, there is no room for resentment, there is no room for fear. All of it seems so irrelevant. See, because doership is one of the important pillars of the ego. Without the sense of doership, the ego cannot last. You see? One of the ego's mantra is, what should I do? What should I do now? What should I do next? What do you want to do? The primary mantra is, what's in it for me? The main mantra of the ego is, what's in it for me? And then you see everyone is going through life through the filter of, what's in it for me? This filter. Don't waste my time. What's in it for me? You see? This is the ego's voice. And it's very easy to see this when we are talking to somebody who is trying to sell us a credit card or some loan or something like that on the phone. You're like, oh, I'm so busy, don't waste my time. There's nothing in this for me. We even forget that there's another being on the other side of the phone. It's not a robot. And it is some circumstances which has made them take on this role. And that's what I say, that's when It's in situations like this when spirituality really hits the road, the rubber hits the road. Otherwise, it's good to just speak all this in satsang and then just be completely operating from the ego, saying, what's in it for me, what's in it for me, what's in it for me. See these small, small things. These small, small, just a small act of kindness actually is worth more than a satsang for me. Because that's where oneness is, you see. It is one thing to speak of oneness, one thing to speak of just being one being, but when the rubber actually hits the road, then are we operating as one or are we still operating from what's in it for me? Namaste. I actually had decided so much for decisions, you see. I actually decided that whenever Lizal is here, we'll get her to start off satsang with some shlokas and end satsang. And today is such an auspicious day and it's her birthday. So let's get her to, although we already started, we'll ask her to say recite some shlokas for us.
I also forgot. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Dhyanam Guru Murti, Pujamanam Guru Padam, Mantramulam Guru Vakyam, Mokshamulam Guru Kripa, Mokshamulam Murtiji Kripa, Mokshamulam Anantaji Kripa. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu, sarvesham shantir bhavatu, sarvesham purnam bhavatu, sarvesham mangalam bhavatu, sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramya, sarve putrani pashantu, ma kaschit dukkhapat bhavet. Asatoma satkamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mrityurma amritam gamaya. Om Purnamida Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you so much. Very beautiful. Also, one request I had is that I believe some were trying to click to the link today from the link which was posted on my timeline. So any of you can post the full link. I believe the link has got cut or it's not working. So if you can post the Hangout link in the same thread as the reminder, that will be useful.
I'll quickly go and do it, Father.
Okay, thank you, my dear. Dr. Kanchan also called me just now saying she's just not able to join the Hangout. So maybe I'll have a longer chat with her after satsang and figure out what's going on.
She was going to send her email to us so we can send her the links because she's not on Facebook.
Yes. Mhm. How can there be a ego if you don't ask, what about me? What about me all the time? We're asking, what about me? You see, this specialness is there. What's in it for me? What about me? This me, you see. No one can find this me. And yet we are catering to only this me, mostly. It doesn't apply to most of you now because you've been in satsang, but mostly if you were to look at the world, it applies like this. And then in those few moments that we find that we are doing something for another, for the seeming another, then also this sense of specialness comes. Oh, I did this for another. That becomes another ego trip. This me we have to find. Is there such a thing? Thoughts are always referring to us as this me. Is there such a thing? Many have looked, many have looked, and none of them have found. And when you don't find, then there are two options which are available to you. The first option is to say that I don't believe in this that I cannot find. And the second is to say, which still unfortunately some will take, is to say that I cannot find it, but it feels so real. There's a feeling about it which seems so real. So I cannot give it up. But you will see eventually that even this feeling of me is not you, it's just another feeling which is witnessed by you. Who is the witness of this feeling also? That is why the core of what we are speaking is the same inquiry which Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi led all his disciples to almost a century ago, which is who am I? This is the core of all that we are saying. Because all suffering, all problems, all desires stem from this misidentification that I am a person. That's why Bhagavan asked, who are you? Who are you? Be completely clear about this. Who are you? Not who are you in satsang time, not who are you depending on who you're with, but who are you really? Unchanging, untouched. Be completely clear. That the pure witnessing, the pure awareness is what you are. And if there's still a feeling which you're believing that you are something else, or there's a feeling that this is not completely clear, then you must step up to the hot seat and we can look at it together. That is the value of satsang. That we can burn this misidentification which we might have carried for many lifetimes. Yes. Yeah. Very strong. I see. Take an example. Center of the world. Yes. My world revolves around me. See? But when we look for the me, can it be found? And I say, who is this me around which the world revolves? Can we find? Does it have any tangible attribute? Does it have any reality? We can look. We can see. This me, where is it? Where is it? Still feels real? Where? Here somewhere? Where? And she's saying, okay, enough for today. We have all the time. This one that wants to be or feels it is the center of the universe, the center of our world. This me, let's try and find it. This me that even wants freedom, you see. Where is this one that wants freedom also? The me that can have any desire, any want, even the desire for approval, even the desire to be loved, even the desire to be seen. There is this me. Can you find it? Huh? Just the mind. You see, but the mind is only thought. Mind is only thought. So it can be either a thought or it can be another appearance like this sense that there is a me, feeling. But who is witnessing them? Are you witnessing them? And are you that which is witnessed or are you that which is witnessing? Then Can you ever become that which is witnessed? Can you step out from the witnessing perspective and become what is witnessed? Possible? No, actually. Because even when it feels like, even when we say that I became a person, I became egoistic, I became so involved, that's actually only attention which is gone. When our attention becomes so strongly into something, it feels like I have become that, but you're still only the witness of it. That is the power of the truth, that it is unchanging. Even if you're behaving like most egoistic, you cannot actually become an egoist. You're always this awareness alone. Now the mind will come and say, but I want it to be only like that. I don't want it to be like this. But this desire also is whose? It's only the mind. It is not a desire from awareness, isn't it? Yes. That's why we found the root. And sometimes I feel that because it is so simple, it may seem trivial to some who are new to satsang, it may seem trivial. But the fact is, to not believe the next thought is the root, is the master key, you see, is the master key to the dissolution of the ego. The simplest way, and yet I feel very powerful. How will belief go? How will meaning be divested from thoughts? It is when you start to see that there is no person here. As long as there's strong belief in personhood, you will not be able to divest meaning, you see. Because to a person idea, all thoughts are meaningful. But to you, really, no thought is meaningful. So, first, there must be some faith saying that I must listen to what the teacher is saying. And once that faith is there, I will try it out. Let me try it out for a day and see what happens. But if you strongly, strongly believe that you're a person, then you cannot divest belief from thought. Because every thought is meaningful to the person entity, the person idea, not even entity actually. And then what you try to do is you say, I want to be this type of person. So you say, I want to be a good person, therefore I will believe only the good thoughts and I will not believe the bad thoughts. See? You're still providing fodder to the ego, but you're being selective in terms of which thoughts should come or not. And then you find that ugly thoughts, bad thoughts continue to come, and you feel that you're being unsuccessful in becoming a good person. Your own inner mind is telling you that you're a farce, you're fake. Because it is a failed attempt to reform the mind into becoming a good mind. Many have wasted many, many lifetimes trying to purify this mind, you see. Many yogic practices, many, many years of japa, all kinds of meditation can be done. And the mind seems to comply for a short amount of time, and then it's back to its old ways very quickly. And then we feel, oh, I lost it again. Don't play this game. Get off this merry-go-round right now. Mhm. Otherwise, you will keep meeting like this, lifetime after lifetime, different shapes, different forms, and this game will go on like this. Let's meet, but let's meet in different circumstances. Let's meet as one instead. Don't try to become a good person. Who will tell you this? Don't try to become a better person. Just first realize that there is no person here. Then automatically, if compassion is meant to come up, compassion will come up. If joy has to come up, joy will come up. Don't try to change the person. Who is saying that the person should be this way or another way? It is the mind itself which is coming up with these sort of targets to keep itself relevant, to keep itself meaningful, to keep itself as the center of attention. If you were to observe this play of the mind, you see, we mentioned earlier the need to be seen, the need to be approved of. All these are so strong for the mind, you see. Even on platforms like Facebook and things, we are tracking, oh, how many likes did we get, how many page views did we get. All of these things are about us wanting approval. You see, this like button is something which works at a very subliminal level, you see. There's so much around this simple like button because it is exposing our need to be liked, our need to be approved of. And then we are constantly checking who has liked it, who are those who are approving of me, and those, this person, he never likes my status, you see, he's constantly disapproving of me. Then we are forming impressions of people based on this simple. Who could have imagined before Facebook came that a like button will be so important to our lives? Actually, it's very beautiful because it exposes this need to be liked, need to be approved very nicely. Why do we need others to like us? Why do we need beings to approve of us, to look at us, to get their attention? What is missing here now? What is missing? We've created this imaginary um, hole which we are trying to fill with other people's love and approval. And as long as we are chasing like this, as long as we keep chasing like this, what's in it for me? Give me love, give me attention, like me. As long as we are chasing, the world will be elusive. You see? The instant you stop and just say, I'm just here, I'm just here, then you see the whole equation changes. Then the world starts chasing you, but you are not concerned. But see, if you do it with this expectation that the world will start chasing me, then it is another form of chasing the world, you see. So you cannot fool it. You cannot fool consciousness. Hmm? So we can just contemplate and say, what is missing here now? What can I get from this appearance which is of meaning to me? What can touch my being? What can change witnessing? Is there anything in the appearance which can make a iota of difference to your being or to your seeing? Anything, anything. The best partner, the most money, what else? What else do we want? The best master also. Right? How is teaching, how is the seeing going to be touched by any of this? What touches the witnessing? Any phenomena, can you show me one phenomena which can actually go to the witnessing and make a difference? Is there anything like that? Shakti says, Father, my prayer is that by your grace, I will love you more than I love the delusion of the separate me in any form it arises. Please let me only love truth. And this prayer is a prayer that when it is made, the answer has come even before the prayer is made. It's very important. And I see you, I do not see any love for the delusion, actually. Because I see you as you are right now. If you see, in the moment, all of you are just like shining lights. You see, balls of light. That's all you are. I don't see any past. I don't predict the future. Right now, I only see being. Being is here. And being can play with the delusion. You can play with the delusion, but you cannot love it. All of you have seen how it is to be empty without believing a thought. It is undescribable. Huh? Indescribable or undescribable? Amaya can correct us. It's one of those two. And we are tasting the moment now. This moment which is here. So beautiful. Yes, this moment is here. The mind is always trying to get you in a rush. It's trying to put you in a rush. It's trying to say you better do this quickly, you better rush for this, rush for that. In this constant rushing, we don't taste this moment. This moment. We are drowning in the nectar of our own being, which is ever present. The Amrit or the nectar that we are looking for is present right here, right now. As Papaji used to say, don't stir an inch, don't stir a thought, don't move an inch. There is nowhere you have to go to find this. Before you decide to go somewhere else, find out what is here now. Before you decide to seek anymore, find out what is here now. Shani said, good to be here with Father and Sangha. So much love, my dear. Atma says, love you, Father. Simply love you. Yes, the nectar of my being. Good. Nick says, since your last pointings, I have been drowned with such grace and self acceptance. Letting go so deeply that I can't even phrase thoughts. This is very good. This is very I love you too, my dear. Right. Mhm. Where are you going to go to find yourself? Which road will you take to find yourself? So he says, before you decide to seek anymore for anything at all, at least find out what you have right now. It's very practical, isn't it? It's very practical. You say, I want to make some more money, for example. You say, I want to make some more money. First, wouldn't it be wise to check how much is there in the bank account? It would be wise. Suppose you're working for the next 1 month for 10 rupees and you find that you already have 10,000 in your bank account. That will not be worth it. So first, tell me what you have in your account. What is here already? Before you go searching for self realization, go searching for the self, you go searching for God. before you go searching for the truths. Can you tell me what is already here? Which God are you looking for who is not present here? Which God is this that comes and goes? Would you really be interested in finding such a God which is available only after going somewhere or getting somewhere? Meaning God means that which is ever present, ever present. For that which is everywhere. So then, if it is ever present and everywhere, why do you have to go here and there to find it? If self is ever present and everywhere, why must you go here and there to find it? Why not here? Why not now? See? As long as you are trying to become God, as long as you are trying to become God, you're trying to become something, you will miss what is present right here. See, the ego's ultimate desire is to become God. It will paint all sort of stories right now. Sorry, the jet plane seem to be flying past. It will give you all sort of stories right now that I just want to be happy, I just want to be satisfied, I just want enough of this, I just want some love. It'll paint all these stories, but they are not true. It wants a person to become God. There are some you will meet who will say that I am God. They will say that I am God. But it comes from the sense of the person feeling that they have become God. You can smell it that it is coming from a personal place of specialness. That is the spiritual ego. See, the Mike said, "Are you alluding to God being within? That is, God is not separate to self." So we can vary in our definition of God. So mostly in this satsang, what we do is we refer to God as this sense of presence, I am, or beingness, or consciousness, and the absolute, the true self that you are is witnessing even the presence or absence of God. But I have no trouble if you were to say that this pure awareness, the absolute, is God, and what is being witnessed as the presence I am or the presence of consciousness can be called Atma or Paramatma or whatever word you want to give it. Okay. So, what we are saying is that ultimate absolute truth is this pure seeing, the pure awareness within which gives birth this sense of being. So, in seeing is the birth of being, and we refer to this as God because it is in the light of this being that the world takes shape and form. So in the Bible, it is said that God said, "I am that I am." God said, "I am that I am." So we use the same definition of God, that I am, the light of consciousness in which the whole universe comes into play is God. That is why sometimes we say that even God takes birth inside you. You are the birthplace of God. And I want to make all of this very practical for you, see. I don't want to keep it esoteric or something mystical or something. I want to make it very practical for you. You see that when we say that the world cannot give anything to God, you can check that to be true, you see. So the presence is here, the presence I am is here. What appearance can give something or take away something from this presence? This being is untouched by anything. And the being is untouched by the expression also. So the way the body is expressing itself or the person is expressing itself, all of this also is completely the being is completely unaffected by any of this also. So where can I find this being? See, these stories used to confuse me earlier. When we used to hear stories that there's a beggar who's actually sitting on a trunk full of diamonds or something like that. You're trying to explain the same thing. You see? You get that? You're trying to explain the same thing, which is that the being is already here, and you're going around for scraps of this. It's already complete. It's already here. We have some visitors here as well. Many of you know. Hello. Visible. This is Hello. Gautam. And this is Sangeeta.
Hi.
And Mata Yoga. So I was just saying that earlier when we used to hear these stories of, the beggar is begging for some small money and he's sitting on a trunk of diamond, but he never opened the trunk and seen that it is full of diamond. They used to be very confusing. What do you mean? You see? But now to see that the presence, the sense I am, the beingness is here. I don't need to go here and there trying to find what is already here. And in seeing this, we see that this is what the story was talking about. The presence of God, the presence of Atma, all this is available to us all the time. It is for us. So where must one go to find this? Where can one go to find God? Where must one go to find the self? Sukhbir says, Father, sorry to be asking this question. as it might not seem related. But in the scriptures, when they're talking of anhad nad, are they referring to the being itself? Yes, yes. I believe they are, because they're talking about this, like Muji says, a feelingless feeling, you see, this soundless sound. So, being, if you're trying to say what are the attributes of this being, we can confirm that the presence of being is here. So, when I ask you a question, can you stop being now? You will say, of course not. If I say, can you find the being? Then it seems a little confusing. So it's easier to say, can you stop being now? Immediately we see that this presence, which cannot be stopped, is being itself. And then I say, can you tell me some attributes of this being? Then we struggle, because there are no attributes which can be described of this being itself. There are some forces which are in service to this being. It could be the force of love, it could be the force of peace or joy. So we can say the presence of love is here, the presence of peace is here. But the being itself does not have attributes. It cannot be defined as a phenomenon. But still, it is completely clear that being is here because I cannot stop being. And in the light of this being, the whole manifest creation, the whole phenomenal world comes into existence. You see, there are many meditators, many sects of spirituality which are trying to hear this soundless sound, you see. In their meditation, they're hoping to get an experience of this kind of thing. They've made it more difficult than it is. It's ever present, it is here now. You cannot stop being. In the waking state, nobody can say that I was able to stop being. What is it that we cannot stop? This present. And what knows this? What sees even the presence of being? What can perceive the presence of being also? What is that? That is the eternal witnessing, the pure awareness itself. So when I ask the question, are you aware now? Are you aware now? Simple question. Are you aware now? And the answer, if you're not referring to the mind, very innocently, even a child will say yes. But then I say, what is seen to confirm this? Or what is perceived to confirm this? And who is the perceiver of this? We will see that it is awareness itself which is perceiving awareness. No phenomena is seen. To confirm that I am aware now does not require us to see a phenomenal object. So this awareness which can be aware of the presence I am is the only thing which is self-aware. So awareness being aware of itself and awareness being aware of being. And then the ancient sages try to explain this to us, you see, in various ways. So they use terms like anhadnad, they would use terms like feelingless feeling or stateless state, something like that. But the mind will take it on as a form of experience to be had. That if I meditate enough, if I chant long enough, then I will come to this experience of this soundless sound. What does it sound like? We're still waiting to hear the sound of the soundless sound. May they come to this true realization of their own being and ultimately of their own self. All of you in the hangout are also typing. So we can go back to Ustream chat. Shakti says it is so strange how long it has taken to hear the very simple pointing that we are that which is not an experience. So strange how long it has taken to hear truly the very simple pointing that we are that which is not an experience. Yes. How many lifetimes have I looked for myself in experience? Yes. When I was here all along, unspeakable grace has swallowed us. It's very good. As long as we keep looking for ourselves as the content of some phenomenal experience, we forget to ask who is the experiencer, who is experiencing, who is witnessing. So that's why initially when someone comes to satsang, we say, be the witness. We say, be the witness. Because then we can take the witnessing perspective and stand back. And once you settle into this witness perspective a little bit, then we put the double whammy on you and say, is there even a witness? There is no witness entity even. Some drilling work that suddenly started. So we go from seeing that there's a witnessing of all that is, and this witnessing is what I am. And the awareness which even witnesses the perceiving happening through the senses. Shakti says, can I come on the hot seat? Yes, yes. Just unmute your mic.
Hello.
Namaste, my dear.
Namaste. I just feel a little shy, and I just thought to just push through that.
This is very good. For those of you that feel shy, you must come up here. The drilling is making it a little difficult. I know.
Yes. I don't know. It sounds like a motorcycle is driving through my house.
It's actually
Okay.
okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute my mic and allow.
I'm not quite sure what the last part was, but what I feel to say is that I've just discovered since the last time I spoke with you that I can't, how do I say, I can't, somehow it feels like take a stand. That might be loud. Chris, can you stop? That if I say that this life is for the truth, then I can't continue to entertain anything that is untrue. So it means that if I feel shy or cowardly, that's not a problem to feel that way. But if there's any entertaining, that I have to say no to that and say yes to the truth. So thank you for allowing me to do this.
It's very good, very good.
Thank you.
This is very good, and we can keep saying yes like this, and then we'll come to a point where neither a yes nor a no will be required. You see, we'll see that everything is just flowing on its own.
I see.
This is very good. But a yes is definitely better than a no.
Yes. It's been so beautiful because since you shared this with me last time, it's felt like many times that everything that's happening is after me, much after me. I don't know how to talk about it,
It's good.
but it's so blissful. And even I say yes to the truth and no to the participating in the delusion, even that is after me.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yes.
So this beautiful neutrality that we speak of is not a doing, and neither is it a not doing.
Yes.
Because in this saying that I'm the non-doer, I'm not the doer, sometimes we believe that we are this passive persona now, which is not true.
No.
So neutrality means that just allowing everything to flow and realizing that there was never a person here doing anything anyway. All has just been this beautiful flow of consciousness. So it is not, neutrality is neither a doing nor a non-doing. It is neither a yes nor a no. It is just neutral. See, because witnessing is neutral. It is unaffected by any appearance. It doesn't have judgments about anything at all. It doesn't have an opinion also. You know? I've never heard an opinion from awareness. I don't know if anyone else has.
Hmm.
So when we find out that this awareness is what I am, it will become impossible actually for us to take a stand. And yet, all stands will be taken on their own. You see what I'm saying? This is neutrality. It is not yes, it is not no, it is not doing, it is not non-doing. Because even when we say I'm not doing, means it is a doing, that I'm doing the not doing. Actually.
Yes.
You see what I mean?
Yes. And I don't know why there's so much bliss in that. I was wondering today, some thoughts arose, uh-oh, am I getting attached to the bliss? And then I saw that was just sort of the mind offering up some trouble so that I could go seeking again.
Yes.
But it really is so, in some ways, so surprising, because it's really that when I just am myself and I'm just myself, I'm just so indescribably happy.
And you see, what will happen is that in the expression of this body, there could be tears, there could even be grief. But
Sure,
inward,
yeah.
always in this. You see, we need to invent a new dictionary, maybe to say, this inward peace and happiness, irrespective of what states are going through. This is difficult to describe.
It's impossible. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Thank you. I love you. Thank you.
Oh, I love you too. So we were saying earlier that before we decide to do any practical project, we must see what the current situation is. So we said, suppose you decide to earn some money. Suppose it's good to check how much money is already there in the account. So we are saying that before we decide to go seeking for God, before we decide to go seeking for the self, can we find out what is here already? Can we find out what is here already? When we see that what is here already, then we can come and say that this is here already, but I still need this. That would be an interesting conversation. So when we truly look and find what is already present, then it is my belief that it will be impossible for you to need anything more. Amrita can't stop giggling because of the drilling, and the drilling stopped. Okay. Jaswinder says, what is the importance of exposing one's doubts, fears, throwing it in the fire in satsang? Isn't it enough to just see, recognize, acknowledge? Yes. This is a very good question. I find it very, very useful to be able to expose it in the Sangha, to be able to expose it in Satsang, because the nature of the mind is to be in denial. See? So there are some things. So this whole idea of personhood can also rest in this denial, even of one small thing which we are in denial of. See? You say, this one I cannot expose. This one is just special, it's true for me. And in this small concept that you would carry about yourself, the entire idea of personhood could still remain. But the mind will come and say, but this is not relevant to share in satsang, or this is not, people will laugh at you. What will Ananta think of you? These kind of thoughts will come. These kind of things can be surrendered in satsang very easily. Because as long as you're carrying even this belief about yourself, then it is sort of like Mujiji says, the fingernail which is blocking the sun. You see? And our secrets seem so strong only to us. Once we expose them, we say that this is what I believe. We find that everybody comes and says, yes, me too, this is exactly how it was for me as well. And then the whole stigma around it, the whole juiciness around all of this goes.
Anantaji, Fatherji, I'd like to
Yes,
I'd like to expose something about myself that I feel it's, and what I want to expose is that I feel like I'm trying to look good, I'm trying to sound smart, or I'm trying to ask those great questions or whatever it is, rather than just being. And I'm not even sure whether this that I'm doing right now, what I'm saying right now, is part of that looking good or not. So if it is, please let me know so that I can get rid of it as well.
This is very great, you see. I enjoy this kind of question very much more than something like even the smartest question. This is very good. He said, I don't know whether even this is part of that or not. How beautiful looking is that? With this kind of attitude, I feel that everything is going to become completely clear for you. And now you see so much, even with this, there will be a sense of space that will come. It will be like some burden has been taken away from you. This burden of wanting to look good, to sound smart, to sound very Advaita in some way. This is very.
Father, can I expose something?
Yes, yes, Jenny, go ahead.
I just have noticed, and I don't even know how to even also articulate this, how there is still this tendency here, and it's all seen, to take on the role of being the person, the finder, the seeker becoming the finder, the spiritual ego. And it's so subtle. It's such subtle, I can't even really even articulate the subtlety of it. And I just I don't want anything to go. I just want to place it at your feet. And I know it's not true. I know it's totally not true, and I know it's not real. But it's just in that. It's just, yeah.
This is good. Vadya used this example once of, he said that we become these spiritual jerks, you see.
Yes.
And we
That's
feel that I know something and I'm special because of it. And I know this jerk very well because I know that
yes.
before I met Muji, we'd be sitting, and some of you heard this story from me as well. I remember very clearly, we'd be sitting across on breakfast time or lunch time, and my wife is trying to tell me something that is bothering her, and I'm saying, but who is it? Who are you? And it was coming from this sense of specialness. So
Mm.
this jerk is I'm very familiar with being this jerk.
Mm. That's the word I wanted to use, Father, was this jerk, that like just exposing this jerk and all the stuff that goes around that.
But the beauty of life is so amazing that there is no way that this jerk will not be slapped out of us.
Yeah.
And that is our prayer. If there's any jerkiness still left here, any sense of specialness or arrogance which is here, let life slap it away as fast as it
Yeah.
can.
Yeah. And it's funny, it doesn't even really, it's an internal kind of thing that,
Actually, now you are saying this, so the fact is that with you, I don't see too much of it anyway.
but it's a very subtle internal, the mind taking on the position of knowing something, of being the knower of the experience, of it moving into the realm of being a known, and it's not true. So that's what I'm really wanting to expose. It's before. It's not. It becomes phenomenal. I don't know how to really
No,
put it into words.
my point is that the mind will always try this, you see. The
Okay.
mind will always try this. The mind will not stop. But you see now that you are not the mind.
No.
So you can see that the mind is trying this, and the mind will keep trying this. The mind is used to wanting to be special. The mind is attracted to this sense of specialness. You see that it is completely clear to you now that you are not this.
Mm.
Also, I want to say to all of you that even if there is a complete realization of the self, even if there is a complete realization of the self, there is nothing special about it because you have always been the self. We could say that it's something special only if you had become something extraordinary. You see, you've always been only the self.
Mm.
Then,
Father, I also want to say is that sometimes in the scene there it becomes a point where it's almost like an existential letting go that's deep in my core, in the core. I couldn't even say in my core. Give me one moment, my lovey, okay? And there is something, feels so primal in the body that a complete feeling of dissolution, of not even feeling like existence in time. I don't even know how, I don't want to make a story out of it, but there is something here that pulls back from that. There is something very existential and primal that really resists that. And I just also want to lay that at your feet because it's also illusory. It's an illusory form of resistance, and even making something about that is another story. But it can kind of have a reverberation through the body here and be interpreted as terror, and I just want to expose that as well, Father.
this is good. To see this is good. And to know that you are the most primal, more primal than any of this. In fact, we cannot even call anything primal because compared to eternity, everything is a blink of an eyelid. You see? No terror can touch you, no fear can touch you. That's why many times we say that even this, we don't need to take our temperature also. Let the
Yeah.
body be convulsing or anything happening. If the car needs a mechanic, we can take it to the mechanic, no harm in that.
Yeah.
But we don't need to be so concerned all the time about what state is coming up next. Or yesterday my state was here, today my state is here. All this means nothing. No? Ultimately, it's nothing.
Thank you, Father.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I love you. Thank you.
And for those of you that are new to Satsang, I feel it's very important for you to hear this, that just don't take your temperature all the time. Constantly in Satsang, we are finding, that people are constantly saying, oh, yesterday I was like this, and this morning when I woke up, it was so clear I'm not a person. When I came to Satsang and some personhood came back, when I left Satsang, all this glorification can happen. Nothing is actually happening. Subtly, because why I'm saying this is that not that I mind hearing any testimony or report or anything. All I'm saying is that because we still in there's this shades of this belief that freedom is a particular state. So subtly, if this belief is hiding somewhere that freedom state means being in some blissed out state or some state like that, then we must recognize it not to be true. Because all states come and go. You are that which is witnessing all of these states coming and going. So this is satsang. Nothing will get you to a point where you will only be in one state. You will be beyond all states. You'll be unconcerned with the states. Would someone like to sing something before we ask the birthday girl to end satsang with some shlokas again?
Father, I'll sing for you again because last time we got interrupted.
Very good, very good.
I'm going to sing you something called Shanti Pact. And
Beautiful.
the translation is, Thou art my mother and my father, thou art my relative and my friend, thou art my knowledge and my wealth, thou art my all in all. With my body, speech, mind, and senses, by my intellect, self, or nature, whatever I do, I dedicate to the Supreme Lord, Narayana, and you.
Thank you.
Tvameva mata cha pita, tvameva bandhu shasaka, tvameva. Tvameva vidya dravinam Tvameva sarva mama deva deva Kayena vacha manasendriyarva Buddhi manava prakrite swabhava Karomi yat sakalam parasme Narayanaeti samadayami Loka samasta sukino bhavantu Loka samasta sukino bhavantu Loka samasta sukino bhavantu Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namo Narayanaya Om Namo Narayanaya Om Namo Narayanaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Very good, my dear. Very good.
Love you so much, Father.
You too. Happy birthday once more from all of us. So much love.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for being in full satsang. Ji ki jai.
Jai. Ananta ji ki jai. Jai, jai.
Happy birthday, Lisa.
Thank you, my darling.